light
there
on
we
this
go.
situation.
Yeah.
How's that? Hello and welcome to another episode of Death by Bunjie. This is a vlog, right, Genevieve?
Yep.
We're going, what are we doing?
We are going out for Spring Gobbler this morning.
It's so early, I can hardly tell what we're doing.
Yep.
Funny thing was, I got up, I set the alarm for 4:30, and my alarm went off, and before I turned the alarm off, before I stood up out of bed, I could hear Genevieve's door open. So you must have got up pretty early.
Here's the thing. I am not exaggerating when I said I did not sleep last night. I was so excited.
You're going to fall apart.
I know. It's going to be fun, though.
I think that there is nothing better than falling asleep in the spring Pennsylvania woods. So hopefully you get to experience that. We're, if we hear some gobbles and stuff, that'll keep you awake, right?
I think so.
I wanted for me to stay awake, because I'm too old for this, so I'm getting pretty tired and pretty old. But I have coffee with me. My Starbucks iced coffee that I've been drinking.
Is that enough?
It's enough. Actually, what I did is I just poured the creamer in here and took the whole bottle. So it's half a bottle or so. So that'll keep me all morning, and I'll just nurse that all morning, and it'll be gone by the time we get there, actually, probably, but we'll go from there. So I think it'll be fun. I'm taking out Bunjie 3.0. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case that gobbler hangs up at 60 yards, we got something for him.
I think that crossbow is extremely accurate. I'm very happy with it. That's the Death by Bunjie version of accuracy. Extreme accuracy. Extremely accurate. If you remember on those videos, different companies have different ways of describing accuracy. Scorpid in their descriptions didn't have any description for accuracy, but nonetheless, that crossbow has proved to be one accurate piece of equipment. It's holding... I shot yesterday at 40 yards. Where did it land, Genevieve? Where did it hit? I keep teasing her about it because she was sighting her crossbow, doing a great job. It was terribly windy yesterday afternoon when we were shooting these things. Genevieve, you ever going to shoot that thing, or what are you doing? Look at those trees, man. Somehow she made it to make sure that Bunjie Jr. was still on. We did adjust the speed ring just a little bit at those 40 yards to pull that right nice and tight group. Nice and tight shot at 40 yards. She's doing great with that crossbow. Bunjie Jr.'s looking good, all primed up. I took one shot with Bunjie 3.0 just to make sure it was on, and it was like it hit the dead center of the black dot at 40 yards. You could not ask for anything more. So I'm real confident that we're both sighted in and ready to go. Anything else you want to say before we keep drivifying?
Nope, I think that's it.
Let's get on the road. Genevieve and I are using walkie-talkies only to communicate in case she needs me. She's hunting in a separate blind this morning, and I don't want her out there by herself without some way of getting a hold of me if she needs me. So we have these walkie-talkies. Now, we're not going to talk about whether or not there's turkeys. We aren't going to. That's not legal. We can't use them for the purposes of communicating about the movement of game or anything like that, or to aid in the hunting. But I heard it clicking, and so I just called her. I said, "Are you calling me?" And she just responded, "Be quiet right now." I'm like, okay, so I turned it off. I hope I didn't interrupt her hunt by clicking in on her, and we're gonna find out later on if that's the case. I certainly hope not. These are meant, you gotta leave them on, and then we've got them on the lowest volume so they don't click real loud. They don't beep real loud, but they still beep. And we'll play around with the settings. Maybe we can fix that. I know I heard a gobble when she was walking in. When we were walking in this morning, I heard a gobble, which is awesome. So we'll just let her play with that this morning, and I hope she has a great time. All right, been here about an hour or so, and I've got one coming. I heard a gobble quite a ways away. I think he's on the other side of the creek, clear down there. And I don't think it's one that would be, Genevieve would be working. I don't want to steal one of her gobblers or anything like that, but he was down there. I heard him gobble. I called a little bit, didn't hear anything, and I just heard him again, and he's definitely closer. So he's come across the creek. He's down in below me here. I'm in the well pad food plot for those of you who have been following Death by Bunjie. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of a gobbler and get some footage here. Who knows? That decoy's looking pretty tasty out there. If you ask me, if I was a gobbler, I'd be in here and check that out. Now, if it's the same gobbler, Genevieve is going to get some action because he came across the creek. He was coming to me. I called a little bit, didn't overdo it, nothing like that. And now I hear him. If it's the same gobbler, he's up there. He's moved sort of parallel to me and Genevieve, but all he's got to do is take a right-hand turn and head up the hill, and he's right in front of her. So maybe she's working that gobbler too. I don't know. I don't even know if she knows what's going on. It's killing me to not be able to text back and forth because there's no cell service here. And we're not going to call each other on walkie-talkies. And you can't communicate about that stuff legally anyway, really. So this is what makes it so interesting. I'm kind of more interested in what goes on for Genevieve. I'm hoping that she has a great morning, that she can go back and talk about all day long, tell her mother about all day long. I'm really hoping it's that kind of day for her. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Quick update. It was 38 degrees this morning, and I think it's warmed up all the way to like 39, maybe even 40. It's freezing, man. I am cold. I got 2 sweatshirts on, a t-shirt, 2 pairs of sweatpants, and gloves, and the hat, and the whole bit. These are gloves I got from Walmart. Check them out. They've got they actually work on your phone. I can work the phone with them, and they're like, $9 a pair. Pretty sweet. Love Walmart for hunting stuff, man. If you're there at the right time, they don't restock, so you got to be there when it's in stock. You get there, you get your stuff, you get out, you get it cheap. What more do you want? This morning, I think Genevieve's up on the ridge, right over there. She's up on the upper wood lot. I'm down the well-pad food plot. She's up a little bit, probably 200 yards away. And she set up her own blind up there this morning, I guess. And we had the other gobbler going up and down the creek here. He headed up that way. He's making the rounds. So whether or not she's seen him or not, I haven't had any visual on him or anything like that. But maybe she's had an opportunity to see him. She definitely would have heard him because he's been calling back up and through there. So I hope she's aware that he's in the area. Well, I found something kind of sad. I was going through my backpack and I found this. This is my spare cocking rope for Bunjie. And obviously I don't have Bunjie with me. I have Bunjie the Third with me today. So I can't say I miss the large crossbow. I got all this extra space right here in this blind. This is pretty sweet, having this extra space. I can stretch my legs out, put my legs straight out in front of me. Normally I couldn't do that because the crossbow takes up 3/4 of the front end of the blind. And I know I keep talking about all that stuff, but I do want people to understand one of the reasons that I upgraded was size. That's a legit concern, and this crossbow just sits here next to me. It's like, it really doesn't take any space. It's an afterthought. This morning when we packed the car, get this, when we packed the car this morning to go, we didn't even have to put the back seat down. We had her crossbow, our backpacks in the very back of the RAV. It's a Toyota RAV4. It's not a station wagon. It's a crossover SUV. But we didn't have to put the back seats down or anything. Normally with my case, it's like you need enough room to land a plane and all that kind of stuff in the back of the car. With Bunjie's case, because it's so big. This one I don't have a case for it yet, but I just put it in the back seat, just stuck it in the back seat and drove it over here and took it out of the back seat. Like, it's just, whatever. We're kind of in that lull right now today. It's about not going on 9 o'clock, and I think the gobblers are done. They got off the roost this morning. They flew down. They met up with their hens. They gobbled a whole bunch, put on their show, and now they're sort of walking around with those hens for the next hour or so. I'm betting around 10 o'clock those hens move back to their nests and try to evade those gobblers, and perhaps we'll get a gobbler who's looking for round 2. And he'll come in here and take a peek at our decoy. Maybe that will happen. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, right? We are on to the witching hour. The witching hour is the last 1 hour. It is now 11 o'clock in the morning. We close at 12. That's when turkey season ends. Spring Gobbler ends, for today anyway, at noon. We're not open for business in Pennsylvania for Spring Gobbler on Sundays. So that means tomorrow we will not be hunting, which is okay. I need to recover a little bit, and I'm going to edit some video tomorrow and get some more stuff up on the old YouTubes, right? We got to get those videos going. I haven't posted videos nearly enough. With playing around with the new Bunjie here, I haven't been in a position to do as many videos, but I have a lot more coming because I've been doing videos. I've been recording the process of setting up that crossbow, so that will be something that will be part of future videos. So it'll be pretty neat. Also, I wanted to take this moment too. I was thinking about this because you sit here and you're enjoying the weather. It's a little bit chilly still. It's really kind of cold, but it's so beautiful out there. The place is starting to green up and all that. And I'm sitting here listening to the compressor station drone on and thinking about what else is coming up in Death by Bunjie. And one of the things I was thinking about is the third ever Death by Bunjie meet and greet. I think we're going to schedule that in the next week or so, and details about that will be coming out on the deathbybunjie.com website. If you sign up for that free email newsletter, you will get notice ahead of everybody else. You and other friends of Bunjie who have signed up for that newsletter will be the first to know about the specific date and plans for the meet and greet. And if you want to sign up for it, you'll get first dibs. And then like a week later, I'll announce it to the rest of the world on Facebook and on YouTube and all that sort of thing. But the newsletter folks, they get the first crack at it. It's limited amount of space or something like that, but the details will be coming up, so you make sure that you sign up for that newsletter, and I'll give you some details about that. I am going to shut up because we got that last hour. I'm going to call a little bit. I'm not going to be too bashful about calling in the next hour. I'm going to crank them away here and see how it turns out. Well, sadly, we have come to the end of our morning. It is now like 11:50 something. I'm going to pack up and go meet Genevieve. I didn't get any gobbles in response to my voluminous calling. How's that for a description of my calling abilities? I am not much of a turkey caller, that's a fact. With the slate call, I feel a lot more confident, especially sitting in the blind. What the heck, you know? I'm not going to pretend that I can do the mouth calls really, really well. Sometimes I can hit those really good, other times not so good. I am going to decock the Scorpion. I'm going to decock the crossbow Bunjie the third here, because the crossbow, this one does not decock with a rope. You can with a crank system, I guess. You can do that. There's diffusers, there's other different techniques for doing it, but it's really actually, even with Genevieve's crossbow, I kind of like using this thing. It's a real heavy, flat decocking arrow, so I just threw that in here. I'm just going to leave it on this arrow, leave it in the case here until I get a quiver, and then I'll figure something out. But for the time being, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to decock this crossbow with this. I have never decocked this crossbow with this. I've only been shooting it in the yard, so I have yet to do this, and hopefully I don't screw it up. Still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Did you see anything?
I saw no fewer than a dozen turkeys today. I'm setting up right now. Not going where I thought I was. Change of plans. Well, it's about 6:30 now, and when I came in this morning, there were 3 or 4 gobblers up on the top of the hill, and they were gobbling quite a bit. I was actually going to go down the road a little bit further, but I ended up not going any further because that's where they were. So, and I also spooked a hen on the way in. She flew out of the tree, but she ran off somewhere. She didn't really care, I don't think. But now they've gone quiet again, so I'm just gonna wait to see if they gobble again. Here's a hen.
I call out to you when I think you're near, and that's when the fun begins. You're walking around, strutting your stuff, showing off for all the girls. But come on over here and get settled in.
There was a gobbler following her, but I can't see him anymore.
I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not that kind of girl. I won't play your games like the other days, 'cause I'm not that kind of girl. When we first met, I was sitting in the grass, leaning up against a tree. You came into view, and right then I knew that you were the one for me. We chatted a while, and you made me smile. I put my shotgun on my knee. I led you on and invited you home to have dinner with my family. But I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not that kind of girl. I won't play your games like the other dames, 'cause I'm not that kind of girl.
Oh, he's a big one. I last saw him. He was heading away from me, going down that hill there. And I think he might circle all the way around up top. 'Cause that seemed like what he was doing. But I'm gonna stop calling for a bit and see if he comes back around and I can see him again.
Dressed up in my finest clothes, I put my makeup on just for you. You showed up and I fed you a line, just like I planned to do. I know you wanted more, but what could I do? What do you want from me? We look good together, you see. We're together for eternity. And I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not that kind of girl. I won't play those games like the other dames, 'cause I'm not that kind of girl. I bet you say that to all the girls.
I was covered up in them. I couldn't move. I have a little, like an attachment I can put on the tripod to put my phone on, and I can't find that now. I couldn't go looking for it because they were here. They were right here. They were like 50 yards away probably. But there was a lot of them. There was 3 or 4 that I got on camera, but there was like 2 more off to the right there that I couldn't. But they're gone now. They moved on. I'm hoping they'll come back, but they're big. You think, you know, when you eat a turkey for like Thanksgiving or something, they look smaller. And like when you see them, they're magnificent, they're huge. So even if I don't get one today, I'm still happy because that's the closest I've ever been to a wild turkey, and that's pretty cool. I think that about wraps wraps it up for today. I haven't seen any kind of a turkey for a couple of hours now. The last one I saw was that hen that was walking around. She was probably going back to her nest. But things have quieted down. I haven't heard any gobbles, so I think I'm gonna pack it up for the day. It's almost noon anyway, so. So I found my little tripod thing, and this is what you put your phone in it and it holds it so you can film like that on a tripod. But what had happened was early this morning when the turkeys were gobbling, I was all excited and trying to set up really fast because I didn't know when they were coming. It was sitting like this. Okay, this part was showing on the very corner of the blind because I had dropped it. And when I went to go grab it, I slid in the 3 inches of mud that was in the bottom of my blind, and I pushed it outside the blind somehow. I have no idea how I managed that, but what are you gonna do? I couldn't reach it. I tried to reach it, but I couldn't, so I finally retrieved that, and I still made it work.
Sounds like you had a pretty exciting morning.
I did.
Tell me all about it.
I didn't get one because, as I was joking about earlier, they hung up at 60 yards and did not come closer. In case that gobbler hangs up at 60 yards, we got something for him. I called him in fine, but I couldn't shoot one.
Did you have a clear shot out at 60 yards?
Yeah.
Like you could see them?
Yeah.
And you had multiple gobblers at the same time?
I had like four or five.
That's insane. And you got some footage I can check out?
Yeah.
Cool. Did you have a good time?
I did, yeah.
Are you glad you got up early and came?
I am.
I'll take it. That's good enough. Why don't you close out our video, Genevieve?
Okay. Until next time, all hail. All hail Bunjie Jr.